Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you guys are well. Let me know if you can hear me and if everything looks okay on your end. Hey, AJ, I do. AJ was the great trading predictor. Good morning. All right. Well, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. All right. So, hey, Moses, AJ, Paul, thanks for coming in, guys. Everybody hit that like button. Really looking forward today. So we're at the end of the week, and so we want to do some weekly analysis. We're going to do some more scalping today as well, but we're going to do some weekly analysis to try to get our outlook going. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. I got up early today, so maybe that's given me some motivation. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll pull out our spreadsheet here. Let me see if I can find it. We're going to start with the spreadsheet. All right, guys, so I found it. Oh, I just got to switch the screen over. Here we go. All right, so this, by the way, you guys can all get access to this if you would like. Hi, Carolyn, Sam. Nice to see everybody. I'm going to post the link in here. And did I switch over the, I didn't switch it over yet. Okay, so there we go. All right, so here we go. I got some updates to do on this that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. So last time I told you I closed the FNKO trade, and the market was going down pretty heavy this week, and so I ended up closing most of my stock trades this week. So we have to update that. So I ended up getting out of FUBO. And good thing I had my stop loss on it, because I would have ended up being a loser, and it was basically a break-even trade. So we'll just go ahead and put that in there, break even. And so that's one of the good things about having the stop losses in place. I still am pretty excited about a lot of these trades. I think that we'll look at the SPY once the market opens and get a longer time overview, just to kind of see where we're at. Actually, we can start doing that pretty soon. And then we had the $100 a day challenge as well, to keep everybody updated on that. And wanted to make sure that you guys are following along and able to really participate with that. How's everybody doing with the challenge? Everybody doing well so far? Good or bad, just let us know how you're doing. It's good to just keep moving steady and work on small targets. Work on small targets, one thing at a time. So let me pull that up here. So this week, we had tried to get 150 per day. And you can see on Monday, I did 597, and I had the screenshot in here, and which basically covered my full week. And so I actually haven't done much since then. I did a couple scalp trades on Wednesday when you guys were watching, but then since then I haven't done a whole lot because when you have a really good day, it's sometimes really smart to take a break, right? To take a break. So let me see where we're at with that. Let's see, 597. Actually, let's do this. 150. I think I'm a little bit short times 5 is 750. So I'm a little bit short. So if I can't make it, that's one of the things that I'm going to make sure that if I can't make my goal, I'm just going to keep the goal as is. And so what I mean by that is if one week I hit my goal of 100 a day, good job. Then the next week, if we don't get it, then we will, if we don't get our goal, we just stay at the same goal, right? So this week is 150. If I don't get it, which I didn't so far, then next week will be 150. And then if I lose money, then I'll have to drop back down to the 100. So that makes it a little more challenging to jump it up. but we want to make sure that we're moving forward with our trading and making sure our risk is really on point. So Job Moses has a question about the leverage and what broker do you use? So I have quite a few different brokers that I'm using for trading, and one of the ones that I'm using is Trader's Way. Another one that I use is FX Choice, and the leverage is really important. But if you're trading safe, 50 to 1 should be fine. If you're really maxing out your leverage and you're trading a massive amount of leverage, then that can be, it can be risky to increase your leverage. So you want to be very careful on doing that. So if you just stick with 50 to 1, you should be fine. However, if you're trying to do smaller trades, the size can increase a good bit. So that's something we want to take a look at. So today I thought I would take a look at some crypto as well. So we're going to do some weekly analysis. We're going to do some scalping. We're going to do some crypto. And I'm going to look at gold again because everybody's been really liking gold. So we'll start out by actually pulling up the gold here. And so we'll take a look at that. Hey, Eric, thanks. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm just getting... Okay, so we'll start by taking a look at gold here. So if you guys have been watching my analysis at all, you'll know that I'm actually looking for a bounce down here, and you can see that we're bottoming out a little bit. But just because we have a bounce doesn't necessarily mean that I would be excited to go long just yet. But here's a couple things that I've been watching. See this trend line? Okay, so it's an actual bullish. It's bullish. It's just been going down for like 6 months, right? So sometimes you have a bullish move that goes down for 6 months. So right now we're actually really oversold. Right? We're oversold. And if you have seen my RSI training at all, then you know that being oversold in itself does not mean that you should buy, right? So when you look at this, it's oversold. So does that mean we necessarily want to buy? Well, sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. What I like to do is find a resistance area. And so right now we have, look at this over here, right? So look at what we have right here, resistance, okay? And so we know this is a daily time frame, and we know that people, a lot of gold especially is a major traded instrument. So a lot of the big hedge funds and bankers and traders are all looking, and they are looking at this exact same thing that we're looking at. And so we know that this is going to act as support. So look, it bounced once, bounced twice, and now we have this yellow line here, which acted as support all the way down here. And so if we look on the hourly, we're just kind of bottoming out right now. It was bottoming out yesterday, and then it broke the shelf one more time. So it just flushed out all of the people that were like, oh, we're at support, we're at support. It flushed all those people out, right? And so, so now we're going sideways, okay? So with that being said, this level that you see I drew could act as a very good place to buy. If it breaks above this, or additionally, look at this, okay? So this is something, and it's Friday, so it's at the end of the week, so you might not want to do it because of over weekend risk. When you're holding a trade over the weekend, anything can happen, but it's Friday. this is got a 50 period moving average. I think if we get a breakout here, it could begin something pretty significant. This is a very steep level. We also have some resistance up here. So it could begin something really significant. We could possibly go all the way back up to up here, right? Which, let's look at that pricing. If we get all the way up here, that's like up to 1865, 1855 level. We have a support right here. So we have right in here, 1874. There's going to be resistance along the way. So again, though, just because we're seeing this doesn't mean that we want to take the trade yet. We want to see it set up. We want to see a nice burst. One way that we could take this, if we look at this and we want to really plan it, is we could take it on the break and then the retest. So I like to look at breaks and retests. And so here was one that happened that I actually took this trade. This is a previous trade that I took. And you can see that right here, it broke this 50 period moving average, went up into resistance, and then it tested again, right? So that's a break and a retest. A break here and a retest. And then on the retest, we traded again on the next move. Okay, so in this case, what do we see happening? Well, if we get a break, let's say we break up here, it's going to possibly hit some support right in here. Okay, and then we could come back down and then retest in here. And so you don't necessarily have to trade that way. You can just trade on the break, but I like to kind of run a little scenario in my head and see if the market does what I'm thinking it's going to do. I will consider doing that. So, all right. Now, let's see. There's a question here that I'm going to put up here. Can you, on which time frame you check the Savvy MACD example with gold? Okay. So if we can, let me hide my picture here. Maybe that's the problem. All right. That's actually an hourly time frame. And so we look at the MACD. Let's look at the MACD. So the MACD is currently way overextended here on the daily time frame. And so one of the things that's really important to look at, guys, is look at what the MACD is doing. And if it's getting across, like right here was a crossover, okay? But one thing you'll notice about this crossover is that if you'll see where it crossed at, it didn't break support. It didn't break resistance, right? And so in this case, look, it's breaking resistance right now. The MACD is crossing. So if we get a break of resistance and of support at the same time, that's a possibility that we got a nice trade setting up. So we're looking here. We got a nice bullish candle. It's breaking out. And so like I said, this could be a potential setup here. And the only thing that would concern me on this particular trade is the fact that it's a Friday, because that can cause, you just have that over weekend risk. So this would be probably a pretty good trade here to take. We're getting the momentum. We could get the MACD cross. Let's just watch it and see if we get a push and then a retest. And you can always drop down, to a lower time frame, right? So here's a 15-minute, and you can see it's broken the level and it's got some more resistance to break. This 200 period moving average is something that you want to watch if you're looking at the 15-minute time frame, because you can see in the past it's tested that 15-minute. I have a couple lines here that are random. And so now we'll just see if this bullish momentum can continue. And when we talk about scalping, one of the things that we could do with scalping is once we identify what direction we believe the larger is going to go, that's when we could take some scalp trades. So we could actually take these trades and look for look for short scalps, right? Look for short scalps on a larger time frame. So right now, this is being retested right into support. You see, it's broke out. We got support right here. It's being retested here into support. So could we possibly go long here, right? I'm just pulling this up. Could we possibly go long right here, right now, because it's into support? So let's go ahead and actually take a look at our levels and go with a buy setup. Okay, so we're looking at going buy, and we just went long. Okay, and so you can see where the reason I did that is because it was testing that 15-minute support level that was recently broken out. Okay, so now the prices just went right back in and bounced and is now moving up. And one of the cool things about gold is that it can move really fast, really quick, and that can be a disadvantage and also an advantage at the same time. So you know, those are just some things that you want to be taking a look at. So if you'll notice the red line and the green line, that's part of my trade tool. So if I ever wanted to do a trailing stop, it's just set up to do a trailing stop, which is based off of the ATR. And I have this set up at a 0.3 ATR. Okay, so we're actually coming into some resistance right now. So we can watch for this to possibly slow down. You see I drew this line. Okay, there we go. It's pushing right into this resistance. And it's because it's over here is where that resistance is. And it's really moving with a nice burst right here. You can see the MACD on the 15-minute is starting to turn over. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. The 1 hour is lowering, but we are pushing into resistance. We are pushing into resistance, but this MACD is continuing to roll, and we're also getting a nice resistance point here as well. So let's be on a lookout for some stalling. It's a nice move, but it can stall. We want to be watching these key levels. We got resistance right here. It's pressing into resistance, and it's pressing right here. So with that being said, we want to be watching this very closely. AJ says it might go to 1697. That's very true. Thank you, AJ, for sharing that. Peter, the VA at 80% might be in play. We'll reach a PD val. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so you can see the support and resistance is now managing itself here. Every time a level gets broken, we have a new level. And so right now we're currently, this line I just drew is the new support level. Okay, and so if we break this, see, this is a new high, it's like when it breaks a new high, then that's when I'm going to move my stop loss. So if we can get a break here, I'm going to tighten up my stop. Because right here is currently support. About 1703 is really the price that we'd be looking at. The MACD is very up overextended right now. So that's something else we would have to consider. But we want to look at the higher time frames and not get too worried about the 1 minute. The MACD on the 15 is looking really good. We have some momentum that we haven't seen in a while on this. Yeah, I'm not sure what VA is. Peter, what's VA, man? I'm not good with abbreviations. Usually, the thing that pops into my head is volume analysis, but that could be way off. Okay, so we're pushing back into support. Okay, you can see we have we got a kind of a downward trend line here that it's testing, as well as this level. We have the black dot on the MACD, which is an indication that it could be starting to get tired, but sometimes you'll get like 3 or 4 black dots. So again, the black dot in itself is not a signal. And we got to remember on the 15-minute, the MACD is still strong. We have been losing a lot of power here right into this at level, like I had mentioned. And so far, every single time it hits resistance, it's failed. But, and this is a big but, I'm still using the daily as my guide. I am believing in this daily support channel that we've been looking at. This is what I'm really focusing on right now. Okay. But it doesn't mean it could shake me out. It could shake everybody out many times before it does it. Or I might be wrong and it might break lower and we have a huge drop. I'm not actually anticipating that. I'm anticipating some more up moves. So right now we have another trend line right here to be watching for as well. So we got a little bit of price momentum stoppage right on resistance, and we'll see if there's any follow through here. Okay, so we're getting a bounce right now. So I'm going to actually add to this position. I'm going to add another long. So now I got 2 trades on. Yeah, AJ, there is definitely some people getting long here, right? Because you can see uh, people are buying because they see this level. They're buying, they're adding up long positions. People are starting to stack. And so that doesn't mean that it's not going to drop or whatever, but it's definitely the buying pressure starting to add to this. So I'm going to put another level right here, which is another support level, which we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching this level right here. Hey, Joe. Joe is here. Okay, so we now we have what is known in the trading world as a double bottom, but it's not totally complete yet. This candle closes in 3 seconds. So you can see we have the double bottom right here. 1, 2. MACD starting to get weaker. Okay, you see that MACD starting to get weaker. On the hourly, though, we're still gaining in some strength here. So I'm going to go back to the 15, or I actually like watching the 1 minute. Okay, so we have just broken lower here. Now we're at our next support levels, which is going to be at 1700. Okay, you can see the next level of support was at 1700, and it touched right off of that, and it bounced $2. It bounced $2 right away. So, you know, you can just see gold moves really quick on a 1 minute candle. This current 1 minute candle went about $10. Actually, it went from 1703, actually $3 on one candle. So that's pretty good. All right, so we have support right here. This is the current support level. And it's also got this trend wedge as well. Okay, so we're getting another bounce right here. Linda asked a good question. Why did I draw the top trend line that way? Are you talking about, there's so many trend lines here. You talking about this one? So this one, I just used this bottom here and just went like that. I just followed here to that top, to that top, to this, and that's how I formed that. And so Paul's asking also about, and so the reason is I just went from that bottom to this top, to that top, to this one. And so Paul's asking about the non-farm payrolls, and it definitely could add some movement here on the gold, definitely. I don't read a whole lot into the numbers because sometimes it doesn't react the way you think it's going to react. Okay. If you guys remember on Wednesday, I was just thinking about that. Remember Wednesday when we were doing that US yen? US yen has been crazy. We'll actually go ahead and take a look at that again. But US yen has been absolutely insane on the upper rising of it. But there was some really good opportunities for short last week, because right after we closed, that thing really dropped hard, if you guys remember that. Okay, so here, so you see that this blue thing that I drew? So Usama is believing that this is a head and shoulders pattern. So we have the shoulder here, the head coming back down and hitting this neck right here. This is another shoulder. So if it gets up here, AJ's thinking that it's going to go back down to 1697, because we did break this upward trend line now. This is a nice upward trend line. It's been broken. All right, well, we're at 1697. So AJ was right again. AJ, good job. That's 2 days in a row, AJ. You'll have to keep this up. That's really good. Eric, you know what? I really appreciate that comment. That's good. I don't really think gold is bearish right now. Let's take a look at my opinion. And I'm glad you have an opinion. That's really cool. So let me just show you what I'm believing for gold. Okay, so if you look at this, this is really strong uptrend. You see this big move. When you evaluate something from left to right, you want to say, oh, it's going up, right? So that's why I wouldn't call this bearish at all. Current price is moving down, but that doesn't mean it's bearish, at least not in my opinion. So the next thing I want to notice is that this is what's called a bull flag, right? So it's a big move to the upside, but this is a bull flag, and it's very consistent, right? It's very consistent. It's also at a very strong support level, okay? Very strong, which is right here. So we have support here. We've got support here. We've got an uptrend. We're overextended. And so with this, what's happening here, it should consolidate around here and we should get a bounce. Okay. Now, do I know that that's going to happen for sure? Of course I don't. No, I don't have any idea. But we currently have support right here, and it might push down and try to clear out some more sellers, but I really think that this channel is going to stay intact. Now, if I'm wrong and it breaks down below, that would be a very bearish signal. And things would be very different, in my opinion, on what is coming in the future. Because I think right now we're still bullish. But even so, I think this could shake out a lot of people, right? This could shake people out, which is maybe what people want to happen for it to go back up, is to shake everybody out. So there's going to be a lot of battling in this level. And so, you know, you want to just wait and see what happens and just follow the price, right? And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm just trying to follow the price. And right now we're getting a bounce here. So we'll see what happens on this shoulder, right? So we got a head and a shoulder pattern. And I do believe that it's going to continue up. But, you know, I love to get additional opinions, additional insight. Like Eric, I'm just curious as to what your reasoning is. Like, why do you think that it's going to drop? Like, why do you call it bearish? What's your reasoning? If this level is still holding and it's still bullish, if this support level hasn't been broken, why is it bearish? And so you could have some insight that I don't know, which is great, because I'm always a big believer on, hey, if somebody has some insight that I don't know, that can impact things that I don't know, right? And the more insight and special knowledge that we have, the better we're going to be doing with our trading. And so I am always on the lookout for some special insight. So if you've got some, please share. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. And I do try to look at long term when I'm doing these. And so these moves, like you see this big move, these could happen all day. This could happen 10 times in a day. It could go up and down. I mean, this is like 1686 up to 1707. You know, that's a big move. That's like $30. How much is that? It's a big move. But this could happen all day long. These big moves can happen all day long. And so that's where the scalping comes in. And what happens on a 1 minute time frame, you know, there could be a lot of noise. We get a move down and a move up, a move down, a move up. you know, it really doesn't matter to the grand scheme of things until we get really key levels broken. So what we see with this downward, I mean, this still might tag this. Let me zoom up a little bit, and I didn't draw this very well. It might tag this line for quite some time. Sometimes these downward trend lines, you see how it might not break the trend line, but it might ride this down for a while. Sometimes it'll be like just bloop, bloop, bloop. I've seen it where it just hugs this trend line for quite some time, and then it'll finally break. And sometimes it takes some time. So that doesn't mean, you know, just because it's touching the trend line doesn't mean that this thing's ready to burst back up. So right now we're headed back down again a little bit. So we'll see. We currently have this 97 level, 1697 is holding, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, gold is actually really, I like gold. I'm just like Yugoslav. If you look at I mean, this is 1 minute trading, but if we look at gold as a commodity, it's a great thing. And here's a great example. If you had $10 in 1950, that $10 would be worth like 10 cents, right? But if you had $10 of gold in 1950, that would be worth, you know, a ton of money. I don't have a calculator to actually say it, but the value of $10 of gold has increased where $10 of cash has decreased. So long term, you know, putting your money in things like gold has paid off really, really well. And crypto's kind of like that right now. Well, yeah, crypto is kind of like that because it's moved up quite a bit. So yeah, I agree, Eric. I really agree. You would want to see some strong bulls coming in, and it looks like gold and the NASDAQ are similar the way to scalp it. What do you think? I've actually never scalped the NASDAQ, so I don't have any idea about that. But I do know that the SPY, which is not quite as, I don't think it moves as fast as the NASDAQ, but the SPY is great for scalping. Okay, so that trade did not work out. So what I'm going to do now is add it to my spreadsheet up here. And so we've got today is the date of the 5th, but this is day 10. And so that was a let me grab the calculations on this one. So now we're moving back down into some more support. So I got my timing wrong on that. And I was up a little bit, probably could have, if we look at it in hindsight, I could have locked in my target. And so we went right up into resistance. I had actually, you know, it's funny when you think back and do an honest review. When you look back and do an honest review, sometimes you know what's going on. Well, I didn't actually know, but I did know that it was right up into this resistance. And I'm like, okay, we're going into resistance. We'll watch it. And I probably should have tightened up really close at that point. So that's something that I messed up on that I could work on improving is managing stop loss targets, So with that being said here, we're going to add this in. And I might try to grab it again just to try it and see what happens. I could make another move here one way or the other. Okay. All right. So, so unless something changes here, I'm not going to be able to hit my goal for this week. And so I'll just start over at this one at 150. So next week will be another 150. All right. Well, let's take a look at the stock market and see what's going on with that. Just trying to grab my chart here. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's the S&P 500. Let's move it back. And so this one also is in an uptrend. And right now, though, we're moving lower. Okay, and so we are currently have some resistance, some support at 368. And the current resistance, there's a couple different levels here. 385 and 395. So we're down off of our highs at 394 all the way down to 372. So that's, you know, this thing doesn't move all that fast because this has taken quite some time. But we do have some solid support right down here. 368, and we don't know if it's going to continue and hit new highs, but I would suggest that we would be looking for some kind of bounce down here. Let's take a look at it on a weekly time frame. You can see that we are currently down for 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row, and it hasn't done that in quite some time. So it could be yeah, so I'm going to be watching this, and one way to do it, this is a weekly. If we look at daily time frame, one way to do this is when a price moves back above the 50. One of my trading buddies taught me this strategy a long time ago, and he basically said that when the S&P, what he does, and he said he's been doing this for like 20 years. And so what he does is whenever the S&P 500 breaks above the 50, he goes long. So you see even back here in 18, it went above this. The green line here is the 50. It goes up, and then he gets out when it goes below. So if the winning percentage on this strategy is really high, you can just see and especially the last, since 2010, we've been in a pretty nice bull market. I'm going back here. Way back. 2008, it might not have done as well, but even in 2008 in the big downtrend, look, right here, it closed above the 50, and then it popped up and then dropped. It wasn't a big move. This was like 134, and it closed below at 138. It's still $4. This one would have been, usually in a downtrend, it's not going to work as well. Like this one was up for $1, but then you just get out when it fails. So here you would have got in at 149, and then it went up to and then the next day it closed below at 147. So you would have only lost $2, right? You would have only lost $2. On this one, it went above at 134, and then the next day it closed below at 133. So that's only $1 loss, right? But on the winners, like this one, it went above at 136. It closed below at 134. So that's a $2 loser, okay? And again, here's another one that was a loser. And this is, I'm going way back to 2008. I'm going way back to 2008. And that, 2008 is a long time ago. But you can see this one broke above 130, and then the next day it closed below at 129. So you're only losing $1. But on the winners, so you just got to be patient, and part of it is to identify an uptrend. So one thing you can do in addition to this is don't do it when it's below the 200 period moving average, right? Because the 200 period is the trend, is the ultimate trend. So if you buy and it's above the 200, then you're eliminating a lot of losing trades, and you can actually use that. You can use that on a lot of different stocks or different things as well. It doesn't even need to be the stock market. It could be some other stuff as well. So All righty. So I'm just wondering if I should try gold one more time, either long or short. Right now we have a downward trend line breaking on gold. So I'm going to actually give it another shot here. I'm going to try it one more time on gold. We broke that downward trend line. You can see it, and we got the MACD crossing back up. So we're going to try it one more time. And this is what I was looking at. We got this trend line right here, and it broke. You see that? It broke that trend line. So that's what I'm looking at, and we'll see if we can get any upward follow through on this. The MACD is overextended. There is some support right here. I'll watch this trade pretty closely, but actually, I also had a couple other trades on too, which is kind of covering for that. You'll see I had the pound yen on a short. We're kind of in a downward channel here on the pound yen. It's an up, very bullish, right? It's very bullish, but I'm was looking at this trend line and looking for price to move lower there. So that's actually moving up pretty well right now. And okay, well, anyways, let's just focus on. So where's my entry? I gotta delete some of those lines so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Well, Paul, it's actually not a revenge trade. A revenge trade's when you do something really stupid, and maybe this is really stupid. But I have validation, right? I have validation. I've got this trend line just broke, and the MACD is starting to head lower, and so I like that. I like those two setups personally. The last time I did it, the last time I got in on a trend line break, it actually worked in my favor pretty good. I just didn't get out. That was the big mistake. Because I got in down here and it went up a lot, and I just didn't get out of the trade. So that was the big mistake. So no revenge trading. You revenge trade, or you just realize you don't get out in time? Because that was actually the biggest problem. I mean, the trade actually itself was great, to be honest. The trade was really good. I just got to get out in time. Good, Paul. Paul and Paul, the Paul brothers. You guys are learning, and that's excellent. Okay, we just got a signal here that the MACD crossed the 0 line, which is sometimes bullish. So a lot of people are actually getting in right now, and we've already been in. So that's a good thing. Carolyn, that's great. No, SA, I actually got out of Fubo. I got out of Fubo. And so I'll still monitor it, but it just, it was very bearish. And so right now, yeah, I got out right at break even, got right out at break even. And Carolyn, this is a great advice for people. Lock in when it's 4 candles. So I'm up 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, and I'm not going to quite do it just yet, but I'm going to be a little more, I'm going to remove some risk. How about that? I'm going to remove some of my risk. This is the hardest job in the world. That's good. Well, right now on these gold scalps, I'm down. Krunal, I'm down about 250. But I have some trades open that are in positive. And so with the equity, I'm just about break even. Okay, so now it's getting serious on this gold trade. So we've got a lot of trades locked in. It just broke this level. You see this support level? So it just broke that. We currently now have resistance right up into here. So if we get back up to 1407, which I think our friend AJ said, or 1707, I think that's probably a good possibility for a target. We'll take a look. Let's look at it on a 15-minute. So 15-minute, the MACD was still rising. And so we had a pretty solid trend wall right here. Okay, and my entry was really nice. That is at least one good thing that I did today was this nice entry. You see that? Right off the bottom of this. Let me just highlight it here. I like a blue trend line. How about you? And I like them a little thicker. So you can see bounce right off that trend line. See if we can get a little bit of momentum, carry it back up. No, I don't trade futures. So I've already eliminated some of my risk on this trade anyways. The initial risk was $100, and now it's only $56 of risk. So if we get a new high, if this takes this high out, I'm going to go long. Or I'm not going to go long. I'm going to move my stop. Head and shoulder forming. You got to watch out. Oh, yeah, look. There it is. Head and shoulder. Okay. I'll tighten up. I like this hourly chart, though. I think, we've got a lot of resistance here, but I think buyers are coming in. I think buyers are coming in. If this head and shoulder breaks, this will be awesome, because if this head and shoulder breaks, that should flush people in. Hi, SJ. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think we're at a pretty solid support level. It's been pretty bearish, but we're at really powerful support right here. So I think we're going to consolidate a little bit. Nice, Krunal. Awesome. Congratulations, buddy. Keep up the good work, man. I appreciate your comments. Thanks, Kruno. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much. And we'll see what we got here. There's let me take a look at this. Showing a drop here on Euro Yen. Let's take a look at it. There's also some support right here. We'll take a look at that. Euro. Let's pull up Euro Yen here. Just real quick while I'm waiting for gold to bounce. Okay, Euro Yen. You can see we have a double top, right? Very bullish, right? Double top, but we're in a very strong up move. It is breaking the low of the day, though. You see this, yesterday's low of the day and today's low of the day. So it's got some bearish momentum. It just broke that level. We do have some support right here. But if we can break some of this level, we could get some reversal happening, at least to the bottom of this trend line, maybe down here. So right now, we'll see how it responds right at this current particular level. All right, let's go back to gold. Okay, so we're consolidating a little bit. I'd like to see some bounce action here, obviously, because I'm long. If we can break this little shelf at, well, I'm going to tighten up a little bit more. So we have another mini trend line happening. If we look right here, there's another mini trend line. So if we get a close above this, that could be a good sign that we're going to go for a few more gains here. You know what, Paul? I do trust in correlations, but I don't really use them to trade because it doesn't matter to me. I just want to look at what the current chart is showing me, right? If I see a trend line breaking, I'm going to go with it. I don't care what the correlation is. It doesn't impact my current trade at all. Okay, so we got a little bit of trend line break. We currently have that head and shoulder pattern. Okay, you see that head and shoulder pattern right up here. So 1702 is going to be the next level that we really need to get broken out. 1702 really needs to go. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for your question. All right, so I'm going to tighten up my stop. My stop loss is now, I have $18 locked in. Okay, so now no matter what, I can't lose on this particular trade. I learned my lesson. The theme for today is closing your trades when you have the profit, not when you're losing. Close when you've made money, not when you've lost money. That's the lesson. So today, everybody gets an ice cream. Enjoy. Ice cream's on me today. All right, Eric. Thanks, man. Okay, we're wrestling with 1700 right now. It's wrestling with 1700. Okay, price is actually now just pushing up to 1701. Okay, sometimes it moves fast and sometimes it moves slow. Okay, we're right at 1701 right now. Getting some buying pressure, it looks like. Yeah, 1701 just got hit. Okay, so now we're right up at this previous support level at 1702. We got to get to 1702 now. I did, Eric. Let me see. Yeah, you can check it out. It's on my website. Wrong. Yeah. Well, it's definitely a way that you can use to identify market patterns. That's for sure. And it's can be very reliable at times. Okay, let's take a look over here. There we go. We just taken out 1702. We're just taking out 1702 right now. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, if speaking of the pound yen, it's actually pretty close to the target. So I might. Okay, gold is moving up pretty good. Okay, so I think now 1707 could be a good target for us. Okay. Yeah, the pound yen trade actually is getting really close to my target, which is right here. You can look at that. It's really close to the target. And it just triggered. Okay, so that was actually pretty solid. Oh, I got one more on. I'm going to close this one. Okay, and gold. I'm going to tighten up a little bit on gold here. Yeah, we do have, we kind of got a couple, we got a little bit of a trend line here. And we also have, this, you know, higher high, higher high, higher high. We got another kind of mini trend line right here where this one broke. So I'm going to actually close this though. And then just watch and see. We could probably get back in right here. So the only position I still have on is a euro dollar position, which we'll see what happens with that. Actually, do I have, okay. Euro dollar is the only thing I got left. And it's right here. Like to see this get pushed down a little bit. So I'm going to tighten up my stop. Right now, as my daily P&L is actually, I closed it as soon as it went up. No, it's not yet. Not yet. Okay. Well, I just got this euro trade I'm going to be managing, and that's pretty much it. But as of right now, I'm actually net profitable on the day because those pound yens covered my gold losses. So if I would have taken my first gold wins, that's a good lesson. If I would have taken my first gold wins, I would have had a much better day. So there you have it. All right, everybody. I'm going to take off, but we're going to see you guys on Monday at 9 o'clock. So looking forward to seeing you then. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys soon.